David StarrTouch or Dr. StarrTouch if you prefer. I'm going to be taking you through a tutorial about how to use the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro, and I'm going to show you how to set it all up. We will be creating a configuration that will be available on the website, the basic configuration that will take you through how to keep this basically going as long as you want. And this is going to be for a HoS at first, and then we'll do a HoSaM later. So hands on stick, this is just hands on stick. You'll still be using the keyboard and mouse, so it's like you spent 35 bucks on this lovely device here, and now you get to use it to enjoy the game, turrets, and things like that. A little bit different, a little more hands on. So let's get started. Gonna roll that intro fast. Now, as you can see, I am joined by my friend here. This is a little kitty cat named Jupiter. He's a Maine Coon. He's not so little. And for those that are very, very interested, he's 14 years old. Sweet. He likes it when I play Star Citizen because I sit here and he can just get on my lap whenever he wants to for as long as he wants to, and he gets extra attention. So we are in the Star Citizen menu. We're going to be jumping to options. And then we're going to go to key bindings. And on the bottom here, you're going to scroll all the way over and then choose advanced controls. So I just spent a little bit of time redoing these to be the simplest controls that should survive most patches. So that is the goal. So we're going to start at the very top. Hi. You're going to click on vehicles, and we're going to set missile operator mode to 3. So that on this is the bottom option right here. The bottom left on the joystick. So that means you're going to be able to turn on missiles with that button. Next, we're going to go down to vehicles, and I'll just go down here, and you're going to see nothing is set. This is a hands-on stick, which means you're still using your hands on the keyboard for everything else. Hey, it's okay, buddy. You can just stay here. I know. Nothing is set for most of these here. So we're going to skip cockpit, skip view, and we're going to jump to flight movement. This is where it really comes in helpful. And this is, just think of this as your aiming. So pitch is going to be forward. And I'm going to show you a trick to really have the best, turn that off, flight options. Now, if you're wanting to become the very best pilot you can with this, you're going to want to do something slightly different here. Now, standard-wise, yaw is going to be X. That's how it works with your mouse. And then roll, we've got our two keyboard options, Q and E. And what I would say, if you want to become the best pilot you can possibly be, you make yaw the twist. And you should make roll the X. So default configuration, this file will come in that I'm going to be saving is going to be yaw will be X and roll will be Z, because that's the easiest. It makes the most sense with the keyboard. But if you want to be the best pilot you can be, definitely set yaw to the twist, because the keyboard is normally doing, the mouse is doing the yaw as you're turning, and then they have you roll, but set roll instead to here. And this is going to be more like a plane. So what that means is when you go this way, you go like, it's going to bank. So it makes sense, like you're banking the ship as you turn the stick this way or that way. This way looks left and right, which is more intuitive, and that's what the mouse does. It has you look left and right, and then you can add Q and E to roll. Yeah, so that's what I would say to do if you want to be the best pilot possible. In fact, for this, I'm actually going to leave this because I think it does make more intuitive sense. Roll, and then right and left. A lot of people just do twist for roll, and you're missing out on a lot of performance. It's a little easier because you're so used to the right and left. All right, let's keep going. Now, then there's decoupled mode, which I set for 7. But as this, we want to make this simple as possible. We're just going to undo decoupled, and you can look at that later. We do need speed limiter because that is on the mouse. So that is going to be the top right button. And then we're going to have speed decrease lower. So increase is the top right, that's 6, and lower is the decrease. Again, turning off the speed limiter stuff, reset. Now, if for reset in general, you'll want to hold. I'm actually going to make it our target unlock for a reset because it is helpful to have. So we're going to have reset going to be the hat down. So hat down is going to share a targeting unlock. So you don't press hat. Actually, that's really bad if you don't want to lose your target. So we're not going to do that now we think about it. We're just going to set SCM to the keyboard or to one of these controls. I think we'll set it to 8. Just in case you need it, you can press the key 7, this bottom one, bottom front. We reset SCM. You'll probably do it on the control. Ugh, kitty. Love you. Shedding. All right, so moving on. We're going to leave the space break and all the other movement stuff on the keyboard. Next, we're going to move down into nothing doing the quantum drive. Finished with movement. Moving down to targeting. Now for targeting, this is pretty simple. Unlock the target is going to be hat switch down. We only have 4 buttons on the top here, a 4-way hat switch, a button on the side, button on the front, and then side buttons. We're not really setting these too much, but button hat switch down is unlock. Then we're going to get to target cycling. And for target cycling, this is going to basically be pressing T. So that's hat up. That's in view forward. And then in view under reticle, also hat up. That's a cycle lock there to get you where you need to be. All right, so now attacker's closest. You can set one of these bottom two. Like I like hostiles, reset to closest. I just press this on the bottom one here. Yeah. So, and then the second one here, attacker's closest. Oh, I already did attackers. Okay, attackers is the top. Yeah, so these bottom two of the joystick I set for closest attackers, closest hostiles, just in case they went to the side or they're not in front of me, or if I want to see which one is closer to me that may not be in my reticle. And that lets me kind of cycle through them. Just a little hack there. Don't worry about hailing at all. Oh, for radar, we're going to set the active ping to left. Which, make sure I've got, yeah, that's your power to engines. And select missile type, that's also fine. Oh, it's activate mining module, that is not okay. Okay, we won't do that. We're gonna just leave ping to the keyboard. And then increase ping angle, we won't worry about. We're just gonna turn those off, keep it simple. Same with scanning. You can assign those later. All right, so, but for mining, it can be helpful. So maybe we'll set ping to here, and then we'll set it actually 10, and then we'll set scanning to the left one, 9. That, I changed my mind on that. Yeah, you'll still do the set the angle the way you want it to. You could set this to the SEM, but I probably wouldn't. If anything, I'd set that for nearest hostile, bottom 2 again. So increase ping angle if you're wanting to have these assigned. Since when you're in dogfights, you're really not adjusting that too much, or won't really be too much of a problem. Kitty. All right. Firing the laser, very similar to combat. Front button. Switching the laser, button 2. This is the thumb button. Right there. And then we've got the increasing power. So I'm going to, again, just to set this to the same. Up is this bottom one here. And then down is decrease, like we're setting the scanning. And this is where mining with the power of the laser comes really in handy with a stick. You can use the throttle part on the back to get some analog control and just set it to what you want. So it's really easy to go up and down. It makes mining so much more fun, at least in my opinion. So activating modules. Most people are going to do this with the numbers. But if you want to do it with the hat switch, which is I still think is a fun way to do it. Left hat, module 1. Front hat, module 2. Right hat, module 3. And then I leave the fourth one just unchecked. Don't really worry about it. I don't set jettison cargo. I'd use the keyboard for that. Now we go to movement of the turret. Pitch forward. And we're going to set the yaw, which is the back and forth, side to side, to the x-axis. And now there's a new option where you can adjust the speed limiter. And what we're going to do, this is, they say relative. So this is an up and a down. So I would say speed limiter relative you can put on the z-axis. In theory, you don't need to do this at all. So if you want to set it, do it on the twist. Because then you can do it, you can set it to turn on, off, and it's a different level of gameplay. Now, absolute speed limiter, I use the slider back here. And then if I really want, I can tweak it that way. Okay, so now we have some key things here. Left hat, we're going to make center the turret. It's easy to get turned around. Also, this brings you right in line with what the pilot's facing. Then on the gyro stabilization, I'm going to set this to the top left button, I believe. Oh, top right. Oh. Bottom left? Yes, bottom left. Okay. Bottom left for gyro, because that one you can use a lot. What gyro does is if the pilot turns, you continue facing where you're taking. So they're turning the plane around and you just keep staying there. If that is off, they turn and you turn. So sometimes you want that, other times you don't. Like if you're aiming what the pilot's aiming at, you want gyro off. Otherwise, you're going to keep pointing this way, they're going to turn and you're going to keep like stay on the target. But if they're following the target, like so if they're like, oh, they're shooting, I'm going to go away. You just stay on the target with gyro on and just shoot them. If they're following the target and the target's moving, you want gyro off to stay right on target with what they're shooting and combine your firepower. So that's something to keep in mind. Next, we're going to do this movement type. So odd numbers are on the left side. Preferred movement type, I'm just going to set this to the top. I don't really set that much, but you might find it helpful. I do like it just to be right here. Then we've got instant zoom, and this is kind of helpful from time to time. So I'm going to set it to be the right hat. Like I want to be able to instant zoom and then shoot. Just get a little closer, get some finer movements going on there. And then the left hat is recenter. Okay, we're good there. And we're not going to use the front and back hat because that's target and untarget. Now, turret change position. If you're flying the Scorpius, for example, you will be changing position of the turret. So that's going to be the bottom right. And that, if it's, I just put it bottom right on this down one here because on the Scorpius, you move it down or you move it up. It just kind of, it's a vertical, which made sense for me. And then I set the number 6 is changing the fire mode from to staggered or combined. So that's, do your guns go boom, 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 or they go boom, 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 boom. And both have their benefits depending on how the target is moving. Combined fire, you're going to hit at the same time. The slightest shift in the turret, one may hit the other. It really depends on how squirrely the pilots are that you're fighting, or how good your pilot is if you're in the turret. Okay, we're going to leave this to off, and like ESP and all these other things you can just do with the keyboard. Or adjust it with the mouse if you really need to. This is just for you to do what you need to do. It's really fun to, I love it. This is my favorite thing to do is like, I love being a turret guy with a joystick. It's just so much fun. Now, with one of these, I actually just move it right in front of me, and then I do it. Having it this way is a little bit of a different experience, but uh, that's for another joystick video. All right, so now we've got weapons. If you want the simplest vehicle weapons, ship weapons, simplest experience, you can put them weapon group 1 and 2, put it to the trigger. That gives you an extra button here. I actually set it just like the mouse. Left mouse is 1, right mouse is 2. Keep it as simple as possible that way. Then I can use my battery charges, like recharge them separately. So fire the capacitors until I'm out of energy for 1, and then fire for 2. If you're using ballistics, it doesn't matter because there's no charging. So then if you're straight up ballistics, fire all is just fine. Then you'll just melt them. Done. Done. Ballistics do a ton of damage, but you do run out of ammo. So you learn trigger control really quick. And then you can move missiles to here if you want. I've got kitty up my nose. All right. Okay, yeah, now we're talking about missiles. Missiles! Did we passed targeting, right? Yeah, so I think I may have missed targeting. Oh, I did it. So yeah, forward and then back. Unlock is bottom, forward is top. Okay. Whoa, that's not what we're looking for. Back down. Thank you much. So let's go to... we were on turrets before I got ADD distracted. Yeah, there we go. Advanced turrets, and then we're on weapons. Weapons, we are good. Now, gimbaled mode, you're going to press G, or you can even do this combined staggered, but since we have these set for SCM, I would use the keyboard for any of those other weapons things. And missiles, if you recall, missile mode should be 3. That's your bottom one here. This is the gyro stabilization as well. So you turn on missiles by pressing on this just below the hat, the bottom one. Every time I hit that, it just takes me out. Okay, so back to missiles. Now, what I like to do is launch missiles using the main one. But if you want, you can actually have like hold it. So you hold and fire. Same difference. So to cycle your missile type, you often will have different missile types in a ship. I like setting that for left hat. Now, alternatively, you can just do all the missile types and then you get a button back. Now, increase number of missiles, I do right. So I select the type of missile and then I 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I just keep cycling through until I have the right missiles I want, the right type, and then I fire. And you're going to see when I press right, there's a bunch of other things that are assigned here. We'll go into that shortly. Oops. Decrease number of missiles should be right. Hat. There we go. I pushed the wrong one. All right, bombs. Not going to worry about bombs. Use your keyboard for that right now, or figure out how you want to assign it. This is the very, very simple config. All right, so now we have decoys. Very important if someone's firing missiles. Since we're trying to conserve buttons, and you might be new using this, I'm going to assign, you can use your keyboard to launch these too, but I'm going to assign just above the missile button to decoy. This is going to be a panic launch. It's going to fire a bunch of decoys. And then noise is also going to be on the same one. So this is going to fire all my countermeasures, not all of them, but a bunch of them, like a noise, which creates a electromagnetic field. So if that you disappear in for a moment on radar, which can confuse an EM missile. And then as soon as you fly out of it, it has a chance to pick you up. But if it's directly here, it's going shh, and you put the noise up there, you can then go and turn, and it's just going to think you're right here. So it gives you a chance to evade the missile. Decoys are going to be like flares and other things like that. All right. So, oh yeah, power management. This is like really, really important. Now, in this configuration, I have changed the keyboard config to do these as well. So I'm going to show you what that is in case you don't want to use the method I'm showing you here. We've got up hat. This turns on max weapons. We've got left hat. That's shields, or sorry, weapons to max. No, I just said weapons. Up hat's weapons. Left hat is engines. Right hat is shields. And bottom hat, down hat, is going to be reset. So remember that unlocking the target is going to reset your shields. Okay? And it resets your power. So shields, engines, weapons, they're all equal as soon as you unlock. Pressing up is going to lock the target and turn on weapons, max. So you're going to get a few extra charges when you're shooting. That's why we do that. And then if you evade, that's where I would go. Like you turn off, then you go right on the hat to change your, what? Charge your shields. Lefts. And what is the, I know we did this here. Yeah, so there's nothing for flight. There's nothing combined here. So right is charge shields, left is charge engines. If you're in a vehicle or if you're missile mode and you go right to increase, you're increasing your numbers. You're also changing your shields and your power. So just get that done and then go back to where you want to go. So just know that if you're selecting missiles, you're changing your power cycle. To me, that's all said and good. Or all set. That's all good. Said and done. Good. Because that works with my style. Then we're going to have reset assignments to press down. So what I did is I also moved this. This is kind of like another hack here. Brain speed hack it's under power triangle. So what I've done here is I did the same thing. I moved the pad. They've got pad locking, and I don't really mess with this too much. It's under target cycling. They do this 1, 2, 3, 4, alt 1, 2, 3, 4. So first one, this targeting. So they do 1, 2, 3. That's your pin your targets. Lock and unlock. And then you can unlock. So I just took those off. This was 1, 2, 3. And then alt 1, 2, 3 turns it on and off. So I basically broke padlocking to add it to this hotkeys of 1 is shields, 1 is weapons, 2 is shields, 3 is engines, and 4 is reset. That way it's near WQ, whatever. I think that's far more useful than locking with the pads. Number padlocking and stuff is very helpful once you've got some advanced, but moving your hand to go to this F whatever, changing your numbers all the time, you're off you're off your throttle controls, and that's you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So let's just hop back to joystick. Now you know that's there, but I did put them here, so then you could do pad numbers and not have to worry about using the keyboard. But if you are going to use straight keyboard and you want to not have to use the triangle here, that works. I just find having triangle, we're making this a combat stick, basically. The keyboard's for everything else. All right, so power, we don't touch anything. Lights, foot on foot. There's a few different things you can do. Like up, you want to move instead of pressing W, you can just kind of hold your hand here instead of like give your fingers a break. So left hat, I'm move left. Basically, I set this up for moving cargo. If you're moving around and you're trying to aim to do that, so left axis is yaw should be forward, y axis. No, yaw should be x. Silly. Okay, yeah. So this lets me look around using this joystick, and yeah, you could, if you want, you could assign something to twist. I didn't. Firearm attack. This is assuming you have selected the tool. And this lets you grab, if you've selected the tractor beam, you just pull the trigger here. That's 1. Then I've set it for oh, and that selects sidearm, so that's button 2. So button 2 until you get the sidearm, and then button 1 to fire the tractor beam. So get the tractor beam and fire. If that isn't giving you what you want, the secondary weapon, this might be what you need, and that's, you can set that here. I don't really recall what that is, if it's the sidearm or the secondary weapon. But all right, now we've got two. Okay, holster, reload, inspect. Not going to do those. All we're doing now here is setting up the tractor beam. So 6 and 4. So I set that on the left side, or sorry, the right side, that we had the SCM on. So 6 is the top one, so that increased distance. And then pull back is the bottom one. And just because I'm not sure on the secondary weapon or not, let's see. So we've got, I select sidearm button 2. Yeah. And then we're not sure if it's secondary weapon, so you could set that to something on the side if you're not sure, like I was, like button 3. And that won't hurt anything. And then holster weapon, might as well do that. Just do or sorry, button 5 is for secondary weapon, and then button 3 is to holster the weapon. So that puts you in, lets you do everything right here. We're gonna be great for jump town, because then you can just, you don't have to scroll the wheel, just hold it, and you will push it back or forth, and then the way you look is where you're gonna send it. So it's really great for using tractor beams there. Kind of like having a macro. All right, don't really mess with EVA at all. If you really want to, you can. You can do this view up, view down. I say first person, if you're gonna use your mouse keyboard, you're gonna be much more accurate. It can be fun, but we're keeping it simple. This is supposed to survive multiple patches. All right, now vehicle, drive forward and backward. You're probably going to use the keyboard for this. So all you really need to do is use this for looking, and that is under right here. So you're going to go forward, back, and then what you want to really, I did this backwards. I made this like the going forward, back, and I'm going to shoot. You can totally do that. So I'll show you that first. This is drive forward is the y-axis. Right, turn is the x-axis. Then Z, if you want to aim, you go point up and down. And then boost I set for 6, which is the right side, and then brake was for, is low, again, just like you're increasing and decreasing your SEM speed. And fire 1, same thing, just did it that way. Now alternatively, if you want to use the keyboard to drive, all you need to do, that all you have to do really then is to look left is X, and look right, look down, up and down is going to be Y. But I set this up so I could just drive like this. If I get really confused, I will go through and change it. But this is, I know, a very simple way that kind of makes sense for driving a vehicle around. Alternatively, you can just do this for turning if you want, or whatever. If you're going to be using the standard controls like you had a mouse and keyboard, then I might do throttle forward and front back here. Then I would do turn right and left, and I would do pitch up and down. So that would be, look something like this. Pitch up and down. Turn right and left is yaw. So then I would do that. And then I would just turn off the y-axis for drive forward and back. Or I would assign this back here, maybe. The thing is, it would need to be sit in the middle. So forward, back, and then stopping is a little more challenging. I think you're literally better off if you assign buttons like the top one here for forward and the back one here for back, and then just use this for directional if you're going to do that. Otherwise, use the keyboard. All right, so we're just about done. And again, target is forward and back. Lock, unlock. You have some options here for zooming if you would like. You could do the turn left, you could set for the hat switch. So on vehicles, set that for movement left. Yeah, so that could be cycling missile types or your power triangle. Don't really have that much on vehicles right now. And then turn right on the hat. But again, that may not survive patches, so we're just going to turn that off because they may add that later in a patch. This is going to be basically as simple as possible is the goal of this one. And I'm going to show you how to save it. And then you can copy it in from the website, which I'll show you where that is as well. All right, so the spectator. I don't know why this got turned on, but it doesn't hurt. If you're in spectator camera, left button, button 1 is your next, button 2 is previous. And so this, maybe if you're watching a race or there's some sort of window, I don't know of anything that does this. They use the hats for zooming in, rotating your camera around. They just use X, Y. So this is, I guess, if you're in the Mako Reliant series that has a bunch of cameras, so it's like a news van, that might be really helpful here. You're gonna see, this is weird. Rotate the camera with a yaw, rotate it with a pitch. These are exactly the same. Doesn't make any sense. I don't even think this is really in use yet. Maybe there's 2 cameras. It's hypotheticals. So you can leave them on. I'm actually going to remove them because I find them distracting. Maybe they'll have purpose and I can re-add them, but I want this to be able to survive the patches. And from pitch, yaw, that doesn't help me. That makes me think it's not ready. So that's going to change anyway. All right, I didn't set any exit seats. That, use Y on your keyboard. You can set a comm down here. I think I'm out of buttons. Maybe do I have a comm top one here? Oh, I've got button 8 open. So that if I'm having issues with the call for landing, I do comms. Activate comms, and then select the ATC for whatever you're landing at. Now F3 I've also set for call landing, but if you press F3 twice, because you stutter like I do, you've now requested landing and said, no, I don't need landing because CIG broke that. If you go to comms and say contact ATC, you just click on it, each time you contact them, it will be requesting landing or requesting takeoff if you're landed already, but it will never say the wrong one. It will only do the one you want. So F3 is great. Hit it once. You could assign it here if you want. Hit it once. But comm by pressing F8 and then to get you the comm menu to message people, guaranteed will work every time. Just got to click on ATC control and you're good to go. All right. So now that's under social. That was a trick I just did. All these other ones should be blank. We want them to be blank because we want this to be a simple, because they're going to be revising this. All right, we are good to go. Next is we're going to go to controls, save it. And because I'm going to put this on the website, I'm going to call this Logi3d. We're going to call it basic, or HoS, hands on stick, simple, S2H. That's Survivor Hero. And then when you see it, you'll know how it's named. You will also see if, like I've done Logi3d, hands on stick, S2H, but because the simple version, this one's a little more complex. So if I don't know why it's showing 2 sticks. If I were to load this up, just do that. You can see I've set exit seat. I've set a few of these, like adjusting the camera view. I don't really like this. I'm going to go through and make it a little more complicated. Actually, when I was redoing this, I was thinking about it. I think the only thing I would add is I would set the camera view to one of these. To one of these buttons on the side. Like 7, 8, 9, something like that. I find it's helpful to do that, just be able to smack a camera like there. And then maybe if you want zoom in and zoom out, you could do that. But that's it. I would actually say the simple one, the simple HOS, is the one I would use for hands on stick. Now, the next one, hands on HoSaM. This is where all the real power comes. So we're going to talk about that real quick. Let's load that one up. Hands on stick and mouse. Is this the blank one? I was looking for this earlier. Oh my, no, it's not. Okay. All right. This looks like it did not save as I wanted it to, because I did hands on stick and mouse in a, that's a very different thing. Okay. So we're just going to, I think it overwrote my last one. Okay, so hands on stick and mouse is very, very simple. One of the reasons you would get a joystick is, one, you want a little more immersion. But the real power of a joystick in Star Citizen is that you get analog control. Now, this gave me control of the mouse, and for someone who played Wing Commander and Freelancer, because I'm old, this is how I used to do it with a Microsoft joystick. I loved it. I didn't ever think about this as a hands-on throttle and mouse, or stick and mouse. No one ever explained that to me back then, and I was young, and this is fun. So that's more natural to me. I'm not a great FPSer, so me moving the mouse around, it just disorienting, and then I go to do something, and the ship's turning, and I'm like, okay, let's just, for me, I turn the mouse off for flight. Separate video on that one. So we're going to use hands-on stick and mouse, which is going to give us the analog for thrust. So I can ease into my thrust versus 100%, let's go, yeah. Or backward, all the way. Roll, all the way. Now, that's debatable where you're going to put roll there, if that works for you. But let's talk about it. So we're going to ignore all of this because we're not using this as a combat stick. The exception is going to be, we are going to put countermeasures on this, because having your countermeasures available to you, this gives you your combat and your missiles. So right group, left group, missiles, SCM, you've got all of that right here. So that frees you up with a lot of buttons. So let's go into the cockpit. There's nothing here I really want to change. I'm going to use a keyboard for all of this. We can turn off both of these. Now you could add quantum, but we don't have a lot of buttons here. We've got 4 on the top, front, that gives us 6 easily, and then we've got the hat switch, another 4. 10 buttons, and then 6 down here with something to kind of play with. And I still use this for mining, by the way. That one's not changing. Go back to key bindings. Okay, so let's jump in. Hands on throttle, or stick, which is going to be our throttle, and the mouse. Mouse is static. We're not changing that too much. We want that to stay as simple as possible. You're going to use the mouse for pitch and yaw. So since you're using that for pitch and yaw, we're going to turn off look left. We're going to turn off look up and down, and we're going to turn off freehold. That's what I did. I set freehold to, so you can move this around and look. That could be helpful. Yeah, actually, now I think about it, that would be very helpful to use the mouse that way. So let's set freehold for, it's going to be, now this is the Logitech. So what are you going to use these buttons for on the left hand? So this right here, I'm going to set for freehold, because I don't necessarily want it to be easy to do, but I want to have make it an effort. So now I hold that, and as I do so, I can use the mouse to look around now, the ship, instead of pressing Z. So that's pretty helpful. Now, if you wanted, you could also do this to look around, but the mouse is going to be way faster. Light movement. Pitch is done by the mouse, so turn that off. yaw is done by the mouse, so turn that off. What we're going to be focusing on is we will leave roll to the yeah, we'll leave roll to the z-axis. We are going to, we'll just redo all of the, we may use the same ones, but I want to have a fresh start. So I'm basically wanting to walk you through the intuitive process of creating a control. Now that you've seen me with what I've already had, we're going to walk through the mental process of doing this the way that makes sense. And some of these I probably would have used. All right, so strafe up and strafe down. I would use control and spacebar for that normally. That's something I probably want to have access to. Now, before I used to do it this way, it's really confusing. Strafe up and strafe down works if you have a throttle already or using pedals. So if you have pedals, you can use them like a car. And then you could put strafe up and strafe down this way. But I would say the easiest for strafe up and strafe down is to use the hat switch. So it makes the most sense, and then it gives you the most freedom. So throttle that way, strafe left, strafe right. And so we're just going to think about it that way. So strafe up is going to be that way. Strafe down is going to be that way. And now actually we can do a really cool thing. We're going to make, where is it? Strafe left. We're going to put that here. Strafe right. We may take this away in a minute, but we're going to do strafe left and right and put that to the throttle. Okay? So here's why we're doing this. You're going to be able to set your SCM now with the mouse, so you don't need to do that here at all, ever. If you want to actually manually do an SCM, or I would say manual throttle, so what you do is you go to throttle here, and then you set your switch like this. What this does is it lets you do cruise control. So I set SCM to this earlier. Off. Go away. I had a much more advanced setup with this earlier. Okay, and again, we're trying to keep this setup, the HoSaM, very simple. We want it to survive patches. So these two are simple. They're for the stick. They'll let you just kind of plug it in and be able to start flying right away every time. That's the goal. Then you can customize for the patch. That was pointed out to me the other day, and I was like, that's a brilliant idea. So we're redoing a bunch of these configs to have a basic setup. I do have, again, I've got all of these other ones on the website, and I'll show you that at the very end of the video. But if you want, jump there, survivortohero.com. On this top right corner, I might even be able to pull it into view. Yes, I can. All right. So you're just going to go to survivortohero.com because I don't have this return link set up. This is my main website. There's me as a coach. Yes, Dr. StarrTouch. And then on the top right corner, Star Citizen Controls Resource page. Click on that, and you will see if you ever get them assigned input 1 or input 2 wrong, I gave you the script code. I'm going to move this down to the bottom. Just doesn't look that great on a phone right now. Then you've got all of these files, these that I'm creating here, that you'll be able to just download. So if we click on this, it just downloads it right there. Unzip it, throw it in the mappings folder, and you're good to go. This is the stick we're talking about. Again, 35 bucks. So I've got a bunch of information here, various sticks, the Thrustmasters. We've got HoSaM, HoS setups, HoSas's, and this is the HoS. Got the VKB, Virpils. So we'll find what I'm doing now accessible there. Let's hop back here now. Okay, so we will be saving this when we are done. Pitch up, pitch down, yaw are on the mouse. Roll is now right here. Okay, now here's what's, I think this is cool. Roll, we're going to put over here. This gives you the power of a pilot. Okay, so if it was over here, this lets you bank the ship. All right. So now you could go forward and roll. You're going this way forward, and then you're rolling. And that gives you so much more power. It's just like having a right stick. But the mouse gives you forward, up, and down. So this lets you do yaw, lets you do forward, where before you'd have to do Q and E. So now you can just go like this. Some people like this as roll. That's okay. That's fine. But we have an x-axis available. Why not? So we're gonna set throttle forward and back. So that's strafe. So there we go. Forward and back throttle. We're gonna set it to y-axis. I'm gonna get rid of the slider. We've got strafe left and right to z-axis if you want. I'm actually gonna turn that off, and we're gonna use that for something later. What I've got now is my strafe is right here. But if you want to strafe around something, it doesn't hurt. So we'll leave it off, and then we'll change later. Now what you can do is you can also toggle these. So if you wanted this to be a yaw, you could assign a button, push it, that's yaw, or you could let go of the button, and then it's roll again. It lets you use one axis with two ways. So that's pretty much all we'd be doing right here. Now we're gonna go down to... I could show you this, but that's been problematic, so we won't do that. Okay, we need space brake and we need throttle. Or space brake and space brake and boost. I like assigning these to buttons up here. So boost, I could be on the trigger. And then brake, I could be back here. So that's usually what I do, is I do boost, go, 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 and brake is back here. Some people like them up here, and they like assigning this to be something else. Like, brain just completely stopped there. I had it set up. Oh, like push to talk. There we go. I can't really think of the rest. When you're going to come in for landings and stuff, you can do the K and the J and things like that. But we've got a setup here. So why don't you do what I do? If you're going to be a cargo runner, you might want to cycle configuration. Set that to retract or expand individually if you would like. So we could do the front one is expand. Or retract. That would be an option. I would actually say I would do the basic landing stuff down here, and then put cycle as one of them. Don't turn this on unless you actually have a whole A or a whole D or a Scorpius. Scorpius, this is cool. I would assign this, or I'd do K. No, it's Alt K. So, but for landing system, it is kind of helpful to be able to do this, but you can basically hit N. You're going to just take your hand off the keyboard or that and communicate, but you can use these as well. We're going to save these for the moment. We're going to keep this simple. We're going to put space brake as this bottom, and I'm going to put boost button 1, which I've already done. SCM reset. That is not assigned to anything, I don't believe. You can put it on a mouse button on the side, but we have an extra button or two. So, you know, actually, I'm going to actually set it reset SEM to this trigger. I think reset, and we're going to put boost as the top one. So boost is this left, this is number 5, and then brake is number 3. And I'm going to set SCM reset right here. This now, when I move, I can reset quickly, and I can use the mouse again to get back to wherever I want, but I'm always at combat speed, at least until the new combat system rolls out, and that will need to change, but this will still be probably pretty useful. All right, I don't use cruise control. I crash into things. Bad. If you want, you can use the throttle back here for an option to not use cruise control, like throttle all the way up. To do that, you just go to forward, Again, we're not setting reverse, we're just doing a forward. And that would be right here. And then you would just set the slider so it's like, okay, go. And now you're going as fast as your SEM is. You don't have to hold forward. It's nice versus holding W. That can be really, really nice. So we'll leave that for the moment. But you do not want to do this if you are mining. And that's one of the best parts about having a joystick. So actually, I'm going to turn off. You know it's there now. Okay, so now there's some things you do with couple and uncoupled, but since we're keeping this simple, we're going to just leave it. All the landing stuff, since you are slowing down and kind of doing contract control, we're going to leave it on the keyboard because think of it like a checklist for landing. Not setting quantum travel, I can just press B and then I'll move my mouse to where I want to go and I'll use this to navigate. And then when I'm ready, I'll press B again. So it gives me a moment. I'm not in a rush, is basically what I'm trying to say. Docking. I set this for landing control and I'm turning it off. Basically N, N, O. O is the docking camera. This is all keyboard set. So you can switch over to keyboard at any time to see what they look like and decide, do I want to change this? Or is the keyboard good enough? The goal of having a HoSaM is to give you all that analog power. Everything else is kind of gravy, right? So this lets you roll. Roll easy, roll hard. You can ease into the roll. This is also going to be so you can roll and pull up or roll and dive. You're going to have so much more power just having that right there and then easing into thrust, depending on even set your SEM. So much more power with a HoSaM. Lets you do really fine maneuvers. Get back to, I was going to show you docking. On the keyboard, docking is N, N, O. So N is landing, hold again is auto landing. As we'll see right when we come down to the movement area. N is landing, or auto land and landing. K is VTOL, Alt K is cycle configuration. I set request landing for F3, so if you're using my config, it's already set up. Otherwise, you will need to set F3 on your own. Keyboard setup's pretty default. It's pretty nice. I mean, I think they do a good job on that. So we're going to move on, skip docking, down to targeting. What do you think I'm going to set up here? Absolutely nothing. I could set up a turret if I really want to. So if I'm going to be a turret gunner a lot, I'm going to use this as a turret since I'm not having to use this throttle, which I totally might do. I think, actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to set up. Yep. All right, so we're just going to go this bottom side here because I really like that idea now. That just kind of like, yes, that works. And now I can jump into any turret, 1, 2, or 3, if I know what they are, depending on the remote turrets in that system. Like, oh, you need turret 1 or 2, boom, boom. Instead of having to F, click, 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 because there was a bug where you couldn't select it, you had to bind it. So now it's bound. All right, lock targets. That's a challenge because normally we do that with a keyboard. That's probably pretty important. So this is where we deviate from using this as a throttle. And so for targeting, all I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on unlock target because the next section is actually lock target. How do I do that? Well, I could do it with strafe forward and back. Not going to do that one. I want it easy accessible, so I'm going to do the top right one. So unlock target is the bottom. And then lock target is under target cycling. They use T for under the reticle. So that's going to be forward, button 6. And in forward, so under reticle and in view forward, set for button 6. So that's this top button on the right of the hat. If I go over to keyboard, see under targeting, cycling, targeting cycling, there we go. They use TT right there. To unlock a target, they use Alt T. Unlock target. Left Alt T. So now we've got left Alt T and T basically bound to the right and the left. This gives us freedom for the mouse to select those without having to do anything on the keyboard at all. Really great to do. Remote turret, they don't have bound at all. Do. But we can turn that off later if we want to, if we need those keys back. But I would say this is a lot of fun. Some people really like you doing turret with a mouse. That's great. I love it this way. This is my, yeah, you know, QZ or QX to set it for more like easy mode. And that's kind of what they do with the joystick, and then just get into it. Yeah, really get excited about hardware. I know this is a long video, but this is just the Logitech. You should see the other, the HoSaM setup. We're just focusing on Logitech today because that is its own set of buttons. And I think it's a really nice stick. 35 bucks. You get 2 of these for the price of a Thrustmaster. Yeah. All right. So, and some of the best pilots actually do this. Okay, I'm tangenting a little bit, and you love me anyway, right? Dr. StarrTouch. He's got ADD. Yes, I do. So target cycling, that's it. I just set forward one thing. I'm not going to worry about anything else. You can do the nearest hostiles and things like that. If you want to use your hat switch for like strafe and things like that, but if you end up strafing, you're going to target somebody different. Your call, however you want to do it. It's definitely your stick. We're keeping it simple here. Now for pinging, that is often going to be done with a keyboard and radar. I'm going to leave that for a keyboard. Scanning, I think, is V. We're not going to mess with that at all here because you're probably slowing down to do that. If you're flying and you want to ping a lot, then I would do something. What did I do this button for? On flight. Oh, that's free look. That would actually be a good plan. Okay. Okay, I'm going to set free look to ping. I'm going to set free look to scan. Yeah, I like that. I think that works really well. Target. No, I don't want to scan angle to change my targeting. And I don't want that to be boost. So we're just going to get rid of those. I don't want to mess with those at all. If you really did want to set those up to be here, you could set them here, but you've got a mouse wheel. So mainly it's just nice to be able to ping, or hold and scan. All right, now we're at the fun part, because if you haven't done mining yet in this game, you're in for a treat. Sorry, the kitty. I had the co-pilot kitty here. You probably saw. He sheds in clumps. Nuts. Got my beard. I'm not my kitty. Watching why my sick friend is in Mexico getting Lyme's treatment because they won't do it in the U.S. Long story there. All right, so let's go to what I was just talking about, mining. Mining. I just had you in my view. All right, let's turn this off so I can... We're skipping... Okay, we just did... Yeah, we did the pinging. Now we're mining. There we go. So for mining, I really do enjoy doing this with the joystick. You can do right and left of the mouse just fine. And I think that's great. So it lets you give it some nice precision. For me, oh, actually, you know, this is the throttle. Here's what we're doing. Turret 1 is also going to be activate mining module. Then, because I would normally have to hit 1, 2, 3. So mining module 2 is also turret 2. Mining module 3 is turret 3. Make sense? I thought so. All right, and now we're going to do something really interesting in a second. Increase power and decrease power. This is what I was talking about. Oh yeah. You can do it with a mouse wheel, but this is way faster. It's so cool. Did I already skip? No, turrets is down there. Okay. So yeah, isn't this awesome? Just like power up, power down. I'm going to leave it here. Cool. And then you can just use the mouse around to just drag where you want it to be and just tweak your power with the other hand. Don't have to mess with the wheel. And it lets you go up and down really easy. Now, if you do want to set it, this increase up and down, you can, but you have a mouse. Why? Why would you do that when you go boom? the whole point of this. You want to leave this for your throttle. If you overload that, you need to get away as fast as you can. Probably get away and boost. I pressed it boost, it took off the screen. Because it's gonna, when the rock's gonna blow, you don't want to be near it. Okay, we're at mining. Somewhere. There, vehicle mining. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Fire the laser is set for button 1. But you can do that with the mouse. So we're going to take that off. Because then we don't have to worry about it. And forget, what did we do for button? Oh yeah, because free look is changed. So you could change it here and then fire the laser. What is this one? Oh, this is your SCM reset. Yeah, that'd be fine. I like to, I might, when I'm mining, I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I'm not going to mess with this. I'm just going to use the mouse for fire the laser. Yeah, because I'm going to be firing the laser anyway and using a mouse. HoSaS. All right, and just for ease of use, then I've got these here, or I could just go to the keyboard. But the idea is we want to be able to have our hands on the throttle to move around and to manage this as much as possible, especially if you're in a mole. Well, if you're driving the mole, you're not going to be doing that. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the new mining vehicles. So turret movement. Let's say you're now in a turret and you want to use joystick. I love this. Pitch, forward, back. Yaw, left, right. Because you're not doing any throttle stuff. Remote exit. Let me press Y. Now, there's this turret mouse movement mode. We're not going to mess with that. We're just going to focus on pitch and yaw. Yeah. You can even adjust stuff if you want there, but what I'm really interested in is this here. So I can set the SCM of the turret, and that is what this slider does here. I don't have a button signed for gyro yet. Well, let's focus on the ones that are really helpful. First off, under turret, fire. It's going to follow the same as your main weapons. Fire 1, fire 2. I don't love that. Is what it is. Okay, so what we can do instead, since we don't want to reset things too much, we're going to just recenter the turret with a button. Let's do it with free look. You hold free look, you reset. You want gyro stabilization, toggle. So for that, I put on the bottom. No, I put it on the left side. Oh. All right, for the hat, since we're not strafing, turret center rehold, just put forward. And this is going to move the turret to the center where the pilot is. I actually already talked about this earlier in the video, so you understand that part. All right, so gyro stabilization, we're going to just leave. We're going to set that again for the bottom, which is that 3. And for turret movement type, we're going to change this right here. Now, you can basically use the keyboard QX to turn on for the mouse if you're doing it that way. Instant zoom, we'll just set it to the right. Because the idea is you're going to be moving the joystick here. You're probably not going to be firing. The problem I'm seeing here now that I didn't see before is they don't have a specific turret firing. They just have vehicles. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay. So otherwise, that's going to be fire, and that's going to be fire, and you want these fire. Alternatively, you could, cares if you have free look, you can just fire 2. Could set these up. Fire all might be really good for turrets. So just going to turn those off. But if you wanted to fire all, you could then assign it to one of these buttons and you'd be just fine. So let's say center. Let's do that. Try that. So fire all is going to be hat 1. Ooh, that would be very bad because that's strafed down. Nope, not doing that. Okay, that doesn't work. I'm just going to put fire all here. And then we'll see if it ends up working out. No, we're not going to do that. Well, are we? Okay. We'll just see if it works out right now. What is the front one here? That is power turned on. Do we have anything signed here? Reset assignments, levels. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's what we'll do. All right, so you'll still be able to do this, and then we'll just have this one be your fire all, the middle here. Because then you can adjust your speed limiter and have some options here. This trigger button is still going to reset your speed limiter because you've got your absolute. This just resets it to normal. And then they have an on-off. Interesting. I would set the on-off for speed limiter if you want to. Turret speed limiter relative, you can also make this a twist since you don't really lose much there. Whatever. You just kind of play with this to whatever works for you. Change position, I would set this for the bottom. I would basically duplicate most of what we have for the other turret, except you're going to put the fire down here because we're using a lot of these others for flight. We don't want fire. Like if you wanted, you could just press this button and fire and not have to hold the mouse. That would work. If you want to just kind of focus on other things. You could even assign these 2 buttons on the mouse to something different if you set these to fire. That is completely up to you. What is that? Okay, change position. What happened to target and untargeting? So we wanted that set. What did I change it to? Unlock target. Okay, we do want that appropriately. So, because turret's going to use your same target and untarget. This is kind of where it gets a little iffy if you start blurring lines like I'm doing right now with the HoSaM. The idea is not to touch the keyboard if you don't have to. So, target cycling view. Okay, good. So, button 4, I just switched up something under turret to button 4, which I did not want. Oh, it didn't. It didn't actually go through. Good. All right, so we've got recentering turret, pressing forward. Gyro stabilization is, that's a toggle. Zoom, right hat 1. The button 3 was gyro stabilization. That's really helpful to, by the way, have. I'm pretty sure I attached it to that one. Left side, button 3. Yeah, I did. Okay. Light, space break, ground. Okay, that's not going to mess with anything. And then it's always good to double check, make sure you're not breaking anything. Speed limiter on, off. Maybe? Yeah, we'll set that button 5 and see if we keep it. And then you can use up and down for the speed limiter to just it. I was doing it on the Redeemer. It made a big difference. It was really kind of cool to be able to just play with the speed limiter. Now, for this staggered and combined, I am going to move this to the left for the turret. So you can, it does really help sometimes. And then changing position of the turret, we're just going to go down. So center is forward, change position is hat down. Because I can't use the right, since those are targeting. Target up, target down. 4 on the other, we would do this forward is target, but since this is our throttle, this is our strafe. And I don't want to mess with... Do I? No, because I can't. I don't want to target and straight forward and target and straight back when I'm using the mouse. Yeah, so I had to think through that for a second. Okay, so that's actually set up great. So now if we're targeting, using this to target, it's still the right stick, or still the right side, because this is the right mouse. That's kind of how I'm associating it. Right buttons, right device. Targeting, aiming, like that. So that's, you're still able to use this and then have some more control. Alternatively, you can do all of this with a keyboard and whatnot. Okay, so gimbal mode for vehicles. Not gonna mess with it at all. Use your keyboard, G, all those stuff. Fire group 1 and 2, you're using the mouse. Yeah. And did we set something here? We did. We set fire off. If you want to use this just solely, you could do it here, F. But yeah, now you can move it around, you can fire. And here is your free look, might be a really good one for fire, because you're not going to accidentally hit it unless you're free looking. That would be bad in flight. Okay, I keep trying to find alternatives. We're not going to. Okay, so weapons, fire staggered. We have it set for here. We're not going to mess with it at all. Again, these are just standard vehicle weapons. But missiles, guess what? You do it all with this. You don't really need to do much. Button 1, change the missile type. That does, what does mouse use for missiles to change? To increase the number of missiles, you press G. Reset, Alt G. So that is what we do need to change. So we're going to go to you're gonna find this interesting. Now you can, if you have muscles buttons on the side, I would just say that we have right and left here. Left would be change your type. Right would well, I guess right's change your type. Left would be increase or decrease numbers. And that would look like this. Under, I guess we should probably set that up since we are doing a HoSaM. So vehicle missiles, I would increase the number of, oh, keyboard mouse, there we go. Interesting. I would have to get rid of G. What is, you know what, give me G back. Use that mouse button 5 and there. But for those of you who are not, have a mouse button out, we'll just leave that as G. All right. Boom. Take it away. Take it away. We're going to go back to the HoSaS, and what we're going to do is we're going to assign for you to increase your missiles. That's your missile type. You got button 2. Mouse 3 turns on your missiles, and to increase the amount and number of missiles. So bear in mind, 1, 2, 3, 4 resets. 1, 2, 3, 4 resets. So use free look. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're just increasing the missiles. And unless you're holding free look, it's not going to really mess anything. So this is kind of like a really cool multi-function button. And yeah, what? Cycle missile type. No. How did that? Oh, we haven't gotten to that. Did we? Yeah, we don't need that because we've got right button. That's weird. Launch missiles, we're going to turn that off. This is from the old joystick, that's right. So increase number of missiles, button 2. Left is going to reset your SEM. Don't want to do that. We don't want to mess with your flight unless, you know, absolutely have to. And everything else we ignore. Now this is super important. Again, you can set 1, 2, 3, 4. I did set it on the keyboard, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, decoy. Boost. Targeting forward, targeting back. All right, so since we are this is where free look, the multi-button's kind of getting me in trouble. Decoy's super, super important. We want to have these set. You probably only have one button to use, so we'll set one of these two here. Now, you can just do these in the keyboard as well, but I'm going to set a panic launch to the bottom button here if it's available. Oh, that's into remote turret. No, I don't want to do that. Well, can I? Hold on. Into remote turret, activate mining mode 3. Oh, that's okay. Ooh, unless of course I'm flying and then it does that. Okay, 12. So we're gonna put it the closest one for my panic launch. Now, alternatively, I could do the middle two here. That's remote turret. No, I can't do middle two. Fire weapons all. Yeah, I don't want to do that in decoy. So, yeah, I don't want to decoy launch with my strafe. I have boost and thrust assigned here. I do have reset SEM here. That again, that's very helpful. I think you're better off trying to figure out maybe hat switch. Strafe down. I like strafe down there. So, yeah, we're just gonna set decoys to one of these buttons here. Not fire all. Fire all is this middle one. Decoy is going to be button 12. It's the very bottom one closest to here. So closest to the stick. And we're going to set that to deploy noise. And yeah, otherwise, boost. Now you could, instead of using free look and increase missiles here, yeah, you could. Oh, what am I thinking? I got the perfect solution. Okay, so since thinking this through real quick, fire missiles, fire all, increase missiles. My intuition's saying come back up here, and I'm not entirely sure why, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, so yeah, increased number of missiles in free look here. That works at free look. We could use this for decoy. And then we could use this for free look if we... this is just too helpful. Gotta have free look as we move the mouse around. No. All right. Decoy's down here. It's like, oh, someone's firing missiles. You smack it. That's just how it is. You've got a panic launch. That's your decoy. And you're going to do noise. They'll do the same thing. If you wanted to, you could change these remote turrets. That would probably be the better way to do it. So maybe we'll do that. We'll get rid of the remote turrets. You can still do whatever you... What's this front one? Oh. Perfect. That's what we do. All right, so here's the logic. The very front one closest to stick is going to be noise because you're not going to hit that very often. Decoy, you're more likely to use a lot. So you're going to... all right. You can panic launch a decoy. You're going to use more of them. That's okay. Or you can do this and you decoy, and then you press the turret one multiple times. So let's say you decoy here, and you increase the size here. So if you're going to go down here, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a catch. All right, and actually we'll set... Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Your panic launch... Okay, got it. Your panic launch is going to be what turret 1 was for your decoy. Your noise is here, so it's like, oh crap, boom, boom. I don't know, I'm getting shot by a lot of things. Boom, boom. Here, you're going to set your decoy. This is an advanced thing, okay? So hang in with me. You're going to hold 12, and then you're going to tap 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let go. They all launch. 7 launch. Hold it. 1, 2. 2 decoys launch. This gives you a fine amount of control that, you know, so you're takes your hands off the throttle for a second, but then you're back in the game, and you've manually set your controls. Here is boom, run. Like just hit him, come back. Versus 1, 2, 3, 4, hit him, come back. This is gonna jump a bunch of decoys, fire a noise at the same time, and you're good to go. We could actually then assign this. If you're gonna do noise, then you're gonna do your panic burst too. So that doesn't hurt. That's actually not a bad idea. This is turret 1, which you're not gonna go into if you're flying anyway. You'd have to actually have the access open. So if we do that, there we go. So now they're saying 1, the closest here, and then the closest, and then the bottom. So this, like, I guess you can really see it. So this is my panic. My, oh, I'm gonna die. Boom. Then here's my decoy. Boom, do. So this is still gonna use decoys, but if you're launching noise and you don't really know what's firing at you, it doesn't hurt. Okay. That's it. You really just need countermeasures. That's what I really wanted to kind of hammer in here. Now, key thing, reset shields. We're going to set this for strafe down. Resetting shields is if you somehow put them forward, side, or back, puts them back to normal. Because now we're at the really most important part, in my opinion, the power triangle. You don't have access to it here. I did bind them to 1, 2, 3, 4, so if you are using the keyboard, great. But since we're using HoSaM, you need to find a way to do it here. And you could assign it to these turrets. That's a good idea. But you're taking your hands off the sticks. So, here's what I like to do. I like to assign it to strafe. And that's because strafe is not really going to mess things up too much. If I tap it, I strafe up, I strafe down, I strafe left, I strafe right. It just adds a little wiggle to the pip if someone's targeting me. So that's fine. When I strafe down, sorry, I strafe up, forward, right? Done. Alternatively, you could do the target. If you're targeting, weapons to max. Now, if you are unlocking, you could go shields, but I don't want to accidentally unlock and lose my target. So I like to, again, use strafe. So forward, flight is going to be strafing up, going to be recentering hold, but you can't just shields when you're in turrets, so that doesn't matter. Then we're going to go to engines. I'm going to hat left, just strafe left. And then shields, strafe right. And then the very reset at the bottom is going to be strafe down. Again, what this does, this is a big bonus, is their onboard computer is going to attempt to adjust to your trajectory, their pip. When you do the strafing, it's going to wiggle it. It's going to be like, oh, he's over here. No, he's here. No, he's there. So adjusting your power triangle is really not going to hurt anything, which is why it's safe to do. If you're close to something and you're moving too quickly, it could be an issue, but strafe tends to be a little slower on the thruster, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. All right, for flight power, we don't worry about it at all, right? Yeah, we don't worry about that at all. Use the keyboard. You're not going to adjust those. And we're pretty much done there. I'd use light. You can assign lights someplace if you want to. I think we're pretty much out of good keys. What we will do is we're going to adjust the tractor beam stuff here again too. So we set it to the right here. Cycle locking, because we're not going to lock anything. So we're just going to set it to 4 and 6, which is the right side of the hat. And reset SEM, that's going to be fire, the trigger. And we're going to toggle, we're going to change the Switch to, okay, holster weapons, 3 still. That's good. Secondary weapon is 5. Wait. Yeah, sidearm is 2. That way, I don't know which is which there. Which, no, it's like, eh. So sidearm is, no. Yeah, secondary weapon's 5. Sidearm is 2. That's the free look. Oh, wait, we need free look. Yeah, free look. But you're using the mouse anyway. Huh. Anyway, you can, instead of using the mouse wheel, this just lets you use these 2 buttons. And instead of having to scroll them, that's the advantage. You get to click it, start it, and then hold this or this. Hold 6 or 4 and use the mouse to direct where you want. So I'm not going to overthink that too much. Look, yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to have these. Well, it doesn't hurt, I guess, to have anything here. Left or forward. Okay. Right and left, we could. Yeah. But we already have that. So I'd say that's good as it is. Don't really need to mess with it. It might be interesting if you added a sprint somewhere in here. But yeah, I don't think it's really necessary. Like if you wanted to add a sprint or move forwards, you don't have to hold the, did I do that? Yeah, you could add a sprint to something, like move forward and then sprint. Then you could, if you do this a lot, like you're like just, I don't want to hold W, I'm just going to run to the place. There we go. Nice, instead of having to hold down, holding shift, just one key. You could set that to be, then you'd have to hold 2. I think honestly the very best option is either you sign it to fire all for sprint and run forward, or just set it up here. That's what I would do. Yeah. Then anytime you're moving forward, you're sprinting. But nice and easy. All right, and now we're pretty much done. Oh, no, we're not. This is the fun part. Okay. I know it's a long video. This is a really long video. The fun part here is EVA. So this gives you a lot of really cool control. So we're on foot. You can now move forward, backward, left, right. That makes sense. And you're still going to switch. I would say when you go FPS, go to keyboard. Hands down. But when you're EVA, it's kind of just like flight. So this is definitely, ooh, select gadget. Some cool things going on there. There's gonna be some changes that will come to this. So we're gonna keep it super simple in EVA. We will want the hold, this hold down free look. But I have to remember, I don't, this right left, I think right left is look. Yeah, so your up, down, right, left is covered by your mouse. So we're fine with that. So all we need to do is use the throttle, the hands-on stick, to do what it's supposed to do. So we're going to go forward, strafe forward. And then we're going to go up, strafe up with a hat. We'll strafe, you can see we're just duplicating stuff. Strafe down. I want to keep this as linear and in aligned as many places as possible. Did I do it? Okay. So strafe up, down, left, right. We are now up, down, left, right. We're covered. All right, now strafe left, have here. Strafing up and down, strafing left and right. We can go that way. Now we've got some movement. What do we do for brake and boost? Well, same as before. Boost is on the left top. Light movement boost. And then on the brake, thing. Strafe backward and forward is not really something we got to worry about. What was this set for? Your accelerometer. No, now we need roll. So we are going to use the right and left as... Oh. Now we need to... This. Roll is X. Yeah, because we have up, down, left, right for strafe. So roll's X. That makes sense. Okay. Because right, left is yaw. We're good. So forward, roll. Yeah, this is EVA. That's the way we want. And then if you need to move right and left, hat switch, up, down, right, left. This gives you all the other options of an FPS then. Oh, free look. There we go. We'll do that number on the side again. Active ping, free look. Good. We're sticking to everything as in. We're not changing anything as a key. It's all the same. All right, so horn, go away. Don't care about no horn. Look left, right. That's the axis. We're gonna let that be the mouse. Fire group 1 and 2. That's gonna be the mouse. Fire group all. We are gonna just reset that to button 10, just like it was for the turret. And we're not gonna mess with anything else other than the vehicle. But we're done with the view or the general. And you could set the camera again if you want to, but play with that. Works best for you. All I'm concerned about is this part. So let's just reset this to make sense. Okay, so brake, obviously, we're going to keep the same. And same with boost. Keep that the same. We want the forward and backward to be throttle. That's very key, keeping things that way. Therefore, only the turret is or on foot. That way. Okay, so now we have zooms. We're for those. Forward, backward, we're good. Turn left and right. That may or may not be the mouse. So normally this is roll, but in this case we can make it right. So we can go forward and right, back and left. You can kind of figure out what works for you that way. Strafe. I think we can use our strafe command safely. Vehicles. Oh, it's the power triangle. Yeah, we're fine on that. So strafe. Still do the power triangle if it's needed, but that works fine. To a degree, if it's not, you'll know, but we're not in that kind of combat where that would be an issue. Thinking out loud there. Pitch up and down. I'm totally using the mouse for that. Yeah, so the mouse is pitch up, down, look left, look right, I guess. If I needed to do pitch up and down, I would probably do... Oh, I would just do this axis if it's needed. Yeah, but I don't really think it would be. I mean, it might be cool if you were going forward left and right or back left and right to do a twist. I guess that could be cool. Instead of the yaw. And then pitch now, because then the only option is pitch right and left. That doesn't make any sense at all. So I think we're done. Yeah, that's good. And then again, oh, the camera stuff is so annoying. Button 8. What is button 8? Countermeasures. Nope. Not going to have button 8 be countermeasures. Or not going to be calm. Feature remote. Activate mining module. Those are not actually my module. If you're in mining mode, that could be an issue. So I don't think that's a good option. Don't think there's a really good way to do this. So I would say you're going to want to stick to the keyboard for the comm. Yeah, it would have been nice, but we're using all the keys. You could get rid of one of the turrets, like the inter turret. Um, Wait, no, I set these for mining modules. Yep, yeah, I wouldn't. Fire all. If you didn't use fire all, you could do it. But we're using decoys. Fire all. We're using all the really good ones. It's a nice thing. It's not a nice. It's not a have to have thing. Okay, so now we have a HoSaM. We've got. This is a really good HoSaM setup right now on a very simple joystick. Now the Thrustmaster has one, or well, it has a couple less buttons, which means we'll need to adjust that. Ironically, it's twice the cost, but it is right and left-handed. So the Thrustmaster, it doesn't have this, but it's purely left. But since this is our free look, I think we're okay. This is really good for a HoSaM. Again, hands on stick and mouse. And there's the HoS if you ever want to switch. So that is why I would say download both files, and we're going to save it right now. And you can easily switch between them. It's like, you know what? I want to do hands on stick today. Or I'm going to be in a turret. I'm just going to access the HoS one because that's great for turrets. And I'm not going to have to worry about, then I can switch back to the HoSaM whenever I want to. Just easy switches that way. Honestly, I didn't even know why I didn't think about that. You could literally set it up for turret. You could set it up for different kinds of trucking if you do that. Like the expand. Let's say you're not going to do any mining under the movement here, you might want to literally set expand or tract to one of these and cycle. You might actually want to set up the landing things here if you're just going to be a trucker not focused on those other things. My goal with the HoSaM was to make sure that you could target and launch your countermeasures as well as your power. Everything else should be more or less all movement focused. And it's cool because it works with the EVA. And then you also get some of that macro like love with the tractor beams because you can just hold that. Huge difference or huge thing. But you can do that with the HoS too. Yeah. So anyway, this is the power of a stick. You've got options to just save the config, load it up, and do what you want. I really, really want to hammer this through. You do not need a stick to enjoy Star Citizen. It adds extra precision. If you have a HoSaM, you can actually outperform people who have two sticks. Okay, here's why. Much more precise. This gives you the analog throttle that the stick person has. If you want to really upgrade your setup after you get a HoSaM, get pedals. They're expensive, but you can then get all that extra roll and stuff. Personally, I went 2 sticks, and it worked for me. I really enjoy it. Pedals have added a level of complication. I saw Avenger 1 using them, and so I've got 3 sets of pedals coming to review. Well, I've got the ones down here, which feel really overkill. The Torque and the VKB are the other common ones, and they're more for like people who like to use them that way. All right, so now we're going to save this, and then I will put this on the website, both of these, under the simple HoSaM and the simple HoS. We're going to do that right now. Save controls, and we're going to just call it Logi3d. And you can get 2 of these if you want to try it, and it's a lot of fun. This is gonna move around a little bit, and if you can figure out a way to keep these super like connected to your desk, whether it's a clamp or mounting extra weight on the bottom, you will have a whole different experience. These are actually pretty decent. If you can get them a little lower and get your arm higher, you're gonna have better ergonomics, so your shoulder's not up as much. But I'm pretty low, and it's still working. All right, so we're gonna call this Logi3d. Sorry, I'm tangenting. It's been a very long video. But I think it will help you for those who want to do the full setup. So Logi3d, we're going to call it HoSaM. We're going to call it simple because this is the simplest one, even though we have you can go through and recustomize. We used all the buttons though too. And then we're going to call it STH. Or I wasn't S2H sometimes. STH. Okay, so we've got 3D, HoSaM, simple. STH. I think we're good. All right, save. And sometimes when you save them, it doesn't show up here. Oh, there we go. HoS. Yeah, it's not showing the HoSaM symbol. Oh, I capitalize everything. Oh well, I get chain. Fine. Kind of out of my standard naming convention. It bothered me. Try again. Logi3d. Wait, how did I do it before? Now I'm like, I gotta be consistent. It's my life. I can do it. All right, so this was the last one. Logi. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna use the same format. Logi3d. And then we're going to do HoSaM. I did it again. HoSaM, hands on stick and mouse. Simple. STH. So I name it this way so one, you know which it is, and you also remember this is the one you got from my website. So if you ever like, where was that? Now you get your STHs, right? You'll know who got it to you, and hopefully, like, new version. It's been a while. Where'd I get that? So we're going to try to keep these updated. Even if I start doing work and everything else, I'm still going to try to keep this. I'm a total gearhead. Obviously, I will be giving away some of these setups once things progress too. Possibly even Verpals once I get once I can afford or somehow get Prime. Alpha Primes, I want some. Also the CM3s. Getting tangented again. Okay, so we've now saved that. What do you do if you want to have 2 sticks? Well, I only have 1 Logi, so that's what I'm going to do. What I would do is I would shift the Thrustmaster to be my throttle, and I have one of those already set up. That's done. And then I've got this one there. So that OG video, which has some issues in the setup, but we'll on the next patch I'll go through and redo it. But right now I'm kind of content with it. I want to move on to other joysticks. So yeah, the next is gonna be, I guess tomorrow we'll be either do the Thrustmaster, which I kind of did, but I didn't do a video. And then if you do a video on the Thrustmaster, it's already done. I hopefully just go through that one much faster. And then we will have the after that's VKB, which I've technically created, but now I kind of want to go through and do simple ones. So I guess that's going to be the goal, is to make simple survivable. VKB, I'm going to give you a little teaser on that one. The HoSaM, I think, really cool. So we have an Omni throttle. And in a separate video, I'm going to like go through and help you figure out which joystick might be right for you. But anyway, this is the Omni. Give it an extra angle here. Need to go this way. There we go. So there we go. Gotta get that camera up there. So this is a split. So it feels like a throttle. And you can't really see it in this, but I've got a throttle on the side, and a different camera would work. So it kind of, you get this throttle, you get this same as just having a stick like this, but it fits ergonomically and it gives you all these extra buttons. Here is the mind-blowing thing, okay? This has more buttons right up here than my Verpal does. All right, I went through and I was like, what? I was trying to duplicate it. I couldn't. I'm like, I know I have some configs here. Why can't? Oh. This has a 4-hat. Sorry. It says, yeah, a 4-way hat, a 5-way hat, a 5-way hat. So that's 3 right there. And my Verpal has 2 5-way hats up here. Then I've got my 5-way hat down here, and so does the Verpal. So I get an extra hat switch, and if I click it, I get an analog stick, just like the Verpal has. So this premium gives you 4 additional things to use. It's pretty cool. You lose a button and a slider. Yeah, a button and basically a mouse wheel. I almost never use the mouse wheel. You keep the pinky, maybe a couple buttons in different areas, but I really, really am impressed. The buttons on the back are also super cool. There we go. And then you've got some, you got the mouse wheel here instead of up on where the Virpil's got it. Same throttle. You got another up-down slider. And you can do some really cool things as this is a HoSaS. I also have the side extension module, which I'm totally going over separate things. This is going to be just done as the HoSaS. Then I'm going to show the extension module. I set this up yesterday, and it's a dream. It is... I really do love this. Now, the other reason I would, again, spoiler, if you're just on the Logitech, you're done. The VKB, though, I would say, is almost the same height. And if you go compared to the Logitech, they're about the same. So ergonomic-wise, I think they're pretty close. So this is the regular, for this is the right stick. Yeah, I can't quite see it because I'm... There we go. Anyway, lost my train of thought again. Okay, well, anyway, so... Oh, there it is. The height. The Virpils are really tall, and I would... If moving this mount wasn't such a pain, the Virpils are about this much taller. So if I'm using this as a throttle, my elbow is really high, and my shoulder is going to have to get high too. That's going to exhaust the shoulder. It's really bad for your ergonomics. It's not great for your body. Using joysticks like this is going to make you tired over time. So you have to sit up your chair much taller than your desk if you want to use the Virpils effectively. Not a problem. Like, as long as your chair can get tall, that's fine. Oh, hi, co-pilot. Scared the crap out of me. I'm like, what just jumped on my arm? Anyway, you're going to see more in the next videos. I'm going to do a VKB HoSaM simple, then a HoSaS simple, and then the HoSaM with this simple. These are a lot of fun. I was going to just give them away in a thing, and now I'm going to be really torn when I do, because I'm probably going to attach these to the chair mount, or the desk mount that Monster Tech has, because we're doing separate videos on the mounts, but the Monster Tech mounts are closer to the desk. The Virpils are farther away and have different heights on them. And with my Herman Miller chair, where the wings kind of stick out, kind of awkward. I still might connect it to this, though. Might take the sides down, or take this chair at the Monster Tech with the VKBs. Undecided. If I do end up getting some Virpil primes and the CM3, that will go there. But these VKBs are nice. The pedals are cool. The budget of this is undeniable. $35 investment. You can get 2 of them, and then if you get bored and you want to try something else, or they break, they're cheap. 35. I mean, not cheap, but we're all on a kind of a budget to a degree. Virpils are a lifestyle choice. If you are going to do Sims for the rest of your life like I am, great. VKB are the next level, and we'll have a whole new video on them after I do the Thrustmasters. So I really should probably do this video tomorrow, since it's Sunday, and the Thrustmasters on Monday. So anyway, David StarrTouch, thank you so much for hanging out in this really long video. I'm going to end the video, and then I'm going to play some Star Citizen, because I slept a lot. I am ready for a game. And yeah, I'll even let this video upload and get these done. Put these files on the website right now. It'll be nice and easy, fast. Feel free to use Survivor to Hero, that config thing, and post any comments or questions in the comment on this video. I've got the link in the description, or will, because that is kind of how I roll now. Got a resource. And I'm sorry for everyone who waited so long for the configs that didn't happen, but they are going to be linked in on the website. So we will have these available for download. You get the stick, you can watch this video again over and over, get all the stuff, fast forward to the parts. I will be cutting them up later to make them easier, but I want to get these out. And production quality will improve as I continue to do this enough time. But I have lots of reviews and toys and Star Citizen. Let's get it out. Let's have fun. All right, feel free to friend me, like me, subscribe, whatever. Sorry, it's like, subscribe, and check out these configs. I'm gonna end the stream for a minute, get this uploaded, take a quick break, and then I'll be back, and we're gonna play some Star Citizen. I'm gonna have to fire up my Verpals again. All right, see you soon.